All right, y'all. So listen, this is episode number 332 of the Homeroom with Smooth podcast. Okay, what was that? All right. And when I say what was that, I'm talking about Trump's disastrous National Association of Black Journalists interview. That was horrible. That was horrible. Okay. Like absolutely nobody, and I mean to include Fox News, says that was good. Even on Newsmax, you had people going, no, no, this ain't it. That was not good. Um, Also, we're going to talk about Kamala Harris, her election chances. Well, not necessarily her election chances, but the rally itself. We're going to get into that. The 2024 Olympics, and we're going to talk about these Israel riots that are over. That are over. What's Without getting into the story, the riots are outlandish. Okay, and then I'm gonna hit on a couple other like key international things with them, and I'm gonna leave that alone. We're gonna move past that later. All right, but first I got some quick hits, some quick news stuff to get out the way. So first of all, Sonya Massey, okay, you know what I'm saying. The police department, the police chief, he just apologized for the behavior of his officer. The officer, if you didn't know, has been charged. All right, he has been charged. I apologize for not covering it sooner. Um, because that's kind of how I started. That's kind of how my channel started and what I started about. And so I would be remiss to not include it in any episode at all. Um, so I did want to say that there. My condolences to the family. Hopefully, y'all get every dime owed to you. Hopefully, you find peace. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I can say. Because it's not like we're gonna start. America's gonna turn a new leaf and start doing something different. They're not gonna do it. We're gonna go down this road a lot more before things get better. So just continue to, love on your people and love your family and just keep everybody close. Next, and quickie news, we got Cardi B is divorcing Offset again. Yes, again. Um, uh, she filed for divorce yesterday. She filed for divorce yesterday. And that's all we got right now is that she filed for divorce. That's it. That's all we got. We know what's going on. She's pregnant right now with a third baby. Y'all know how Offset get down. He been cheating. All right, that's how rappers get down. Rappers cheat. Whoop de f and do. Um, Next, I want to get into is Deadpool and Wolverine. That movie is absolutely phenomenal. Y'all should go check that movie out immediately. Like as soon as you get a chance, as soon as you got time, drop by there, check it out. Uh, hey, Hey, Deadpool might just be Marvel Jesus. You know what I'm saying? He saved them from themselves. Um, and then also I want to say before I get off this these quickie news, JPEG Mafia, before you start dissing Drake, bro, all right, you need to address your own weird behavior, okay? I done seen them videos of you running around spitting in your fan's mouth, particularly your male fan's mouth. You know what I'm saying? Hey, if that's how you swing, that's fine and dandy. But you need to check the age of these people you spit in the mouth of because one of them was a minor. One of them was 16. Yeah, yeah. I seen the file get pulled on you, buddy. You thought blocking him will make it go away. It's not going away, buddy. I'm going to clip this segment and I'm going to make it its own independent video. Just this little piece. So then people can see on the internet that you're a nasty man. You're a nasty man. Talking about you've been dissing Drake for 8 years. Ain't nobody even heard it. Don't nobody listen to your albums. I'm just now really hearing about you for the first time. And I get to see you spitting in men's mouth. And one of the men is a minor. Seek help. You're not like us, sir. You're not like us at all. You need help. Need help. Anyway, let's get into the show.
Check out a freestyle I just dropped on YouTube.
You got another day to be great. You woke up, so that means that you have another day to be great.
All right, we're back, and let's get into the first topic. Let's get into the Trump and this. The conference is so bad. All right, the conference is so bad. Conference is so bad. The only thing I can do is play it. Okay, we're not gonna play. This thing is an hour. This live is an hour and 48 minutes. Look. I want to show you on this screen, right? Nothing happens on this stage. Nothing, nothing, and like none of this, none, nothing happened. Nothing happened for an hour. Like, could you imagine sitting somewhere waiting for it to start for an hour? Now, look, now the panelists, they get on stage, right? So they're there. You have a Fox News correspondent over here. You have this girl, I believe she's with CNN, and this one, he hates her. He hates her. But she's with a different news organization as well. I'm not for sure what the name of the organization that she's with, but she's been kicking they back in for a long time. And y'all are gonna see like how like this is a crazy way to start an interview. I'm gonna say that much. It's a crazy way to start an interview. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's play it. Oh, okay. And I'm gonna be clear. I want to be extremely clear here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let the journalist ask the question. I'm going to let Trump respond, and then I'm going to respond to his answer and how they gave the question as well. Just for the sake of getting through this, because if I respond to each little bit and piece, it's gonna run way too long. Yeah. So anyway, let's get into it. If you're liking this video, please like it.
During election years of inviting journalists to discuss the policies and their impact with the candidates who are running for president and the impact of those policies, especially in Black communities. Former Presidents George W. Bush, Barack Obama, and Bill Clinton have attended the NABJ conventions either as presidents or as presidential candidates in past years. NABJ is currently in conversation with Vice President Kamala Harris's team to schedule a Q&A either in person or virtually in September. As journalists, we use opportunities like these both to inform our reporting, but also to help voters understand the choices that they face in a consequential and historic.
Okay. And also I want to say this. There's two parts to one. Kamala she wasn't ready to go on. That's one. Like there's three parts to it. One, she wasn't ready to go on. Two, it's like her schedule, like timing wise, it wasn't a good time to go, right? Like scheduling conflict wise, it wasn't gonna work out. And it didn't have to necessarily be the day of, but it had something to do with what was before it and what was after it. I think like traveling, like it was a mess. And she got to have Secret Service and all that, blah, blah, blah. She's current vice president. So there's that. Coordination it just wasn't working. Two, three. The last thing is her, and let me enlarge myself for this. Her going S3, her going there before the actual DNC actually happens to confirm her as the nominee is a bad look. You know what I'm saying? That's a bad look in and of itself. That's why she's scheduling it in September after the DNC. So she is confirmed to be the actual presidential running Democratic nominee, right? Because if she's not, let's say something happens in the conference and she's not and we end up with somebody else, that this event is still open for somebody to come and do it without it being kind of like you having a backtrack or whatever and it being a hot mess. So I respect her team's wisdom in holding off on doing this event. All right, that's a smart move. It's a smart move all the way around. And the fourth thing is she gets to go after Trump. So no matter what she says, she's gonna end up looking better than Trump did here. Like, and that's a smart business anyway, because people only remember what you recently saw. They don't remember things
has partnered
earlier.
with PolitiFact to fact check this conversation in real time. You can access that feed on social media. using the hashtag NABJ fact check. Again, the hashtag is NABJ fact check. We have a lot to get to, and we do not want to waste any time. So let's bring out the former president of the United States, the Republican nominee for president, former President Donald Trump.
They gave him a nice little
Mr.
walkout
President, we
beat.
so
I wonder where I
appreciate
can get that
you
beat
giving us
from.
an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be.
Okay, hold on. Real quick. I had to pause. Listen, this is the worst opening question I have ever seen. Just it's too aggressive. Like there was no hi, there was no no pleasantries, none of that. He's still a even if you like him or dislike him, he's still a former president, and he's owed that respect. You have to do the pleasantries first. Like you have to. You can't go into full attack mode. I respect the attack because he's still 10 toes down. But boy, this question is hot. It's hot. This is bad. This is crazy. This is crazy. He's a former president though. Like you're supposed to give him a little pleasantries, all right? At least let him get seated good.
Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabbit to describe Black district attorneys. You've attacked Black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking Black supporters to vote for you, why should Black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the Black population of this country. I've done so much for the Black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for Black workers and Black entrepreneurs. I've done so much. And, and I say this, historically, Black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke. And I saved them. And I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late, just so we understand. I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working or something
Mr.
was
President,
wrong.
I would love
I think
you
it's
to
a
answer the
very
question on
nasty
your
question.
rhetoric and why you
I have
believe
answered the
Black voters should
question.
trust you with another
I
4
have
years.
been the best president
Oh, I'm gonna let him finish.
for the Black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than
Okay. A narcissist can't take his own medication. That's facts. All right. So listen. Him saying he's been the best president for Black people since Abraham Lincoln is crazy. So you're just gonna skip over JFK and Civil Rights Act. You're just gonna skip over the Voting Rights Act. That was bad. You're just gonna skip over all of that. Nah, whatever. So there's that. All right. Oh my God. All right. So first of all, okay, yes, he did to some. First of all, like I said, her question, our opening question, straight to the point. As much as I like it, he's still a former president. You're supposed to give him some pleasantries or whatever, right? That's what he was. That's what he was alluding to. Secondly, he didn't answer the question at all. Didn't answer the question. Didn't even attempt to answer the question. Didn't even care to answer the question. I don't see a world where he doesn't even care. Like, he does not care. Man, let me edit this on my Twitch stream. Put myself in the right category. Yeah, he's beyond full of himself, and this is just crazy. Like, I agree with you, success. He's beyond full of himself. I've never seen this before in my life. He has not been the best president for Black people. Okay, hate crimes was up under him. Just throwing that out there. White supremacist groups were going crazy out there. We had all those police shootings. They were all under him. like, come on. Like, what are we talking about? It was some of the worst years ever. You know what I'm saying? BLM literally exists because of you. Like, this is all your fault. You created the thing you hate. Like, what is this? You know? Yeah, so there's that or whatever. And hopefully he starts answering questions, but I doubt it.
You to start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work in such a hostile manner, I think it's a disgrace.
So, okay, let me address that one thing too. That's what I was thinking about. So really what happened was they started late because he did not want to go on stage. If they were going to live fact check him, to the audience, he didn't want it displayed to the audience. He didn't want the audience to see that he was lying in real time. That's what he wanted. So they still had the live fact check, but they had it on social media. And he was okay with it being on social media, but he didn't want anybody in the room seeing him getting fact checked in real time. That's sick. That is a sick man. That is a man that knows he's lying. That is a man that knows he's lying. Like, he don't want people to see it in real time. He don't want people to know, yeah, I just lied. Yeah, I just embezzled the truth. Like, what? What is this? It doesn't matter what he says or does. His followers are blind and deaf to it. That's facts. That's facts. He was not kidding when he said, what was it? The 2 election cycles ago, that he was like, I could shoot somebody in Times Square and nobody care. He was right. He was absolutely right. Oh my God. Anyway, let's let them unload their next question.
Just ask a follow-up, sir, and then we'll move on to other questions here. Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first Black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
Give me a
literally the
definition then.
words
Would you give me a definition?
DEI.
Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a question.
No,
a
you
very
have to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me if you
I
will.
just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a Black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much. And she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was Black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn Black, and now she wants to be known as Black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she Black?
She has always
But you know
identified as a Black woman.
I
She went
respect
to a
either
historically
one.
Black college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a Black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do
And
you
I
believe
think
that she is
somebody should look into that too when you ask continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire? As some
I really
Republicans have
don't know.
said?
I mean, I really don't know. Could be. There are some, and there are plenty. I know this lady right over there.
Okay. So before he gets into what he does, the reality is you have positives on both sides that live alternative lifestyle. Hey, that's facts. That's facts. So look, let me talk to y'all real quick. This man just on national television, just questioned, okay, on national television and on the internet, just questioned someone's blackness. He has a Jamaican father, okay, and an Indian mother. Whether that Jamaican father's full black or not, I don't care. He's Jamaican. And he looks phenotypically black. He lines himself as black. Whether she knows her father very well or not, it doesn't matter. She's still a black woman at the end of the day. She is an AKA. She like I've never had to validate someone's blackness before. Like this just seems like such an abstract thought, like that mixed people can claim both sides. Yes, she's Indian American, and yes, she's black. She can claim both. She can claim both. Trump, ask JD Vance what the nationality of his children are. Ask him. Ask him. Ask JD Vance. That's your boy. That's your man's. That's your VP. Ask him the nationality of his children because he's white and his wife is Indian. Like, come on. You know what a mixed child is. You know that. Talking about she wasn't born in America. Her birth certificate's on the internet. It's on the internet. She was born in Oakland, California. You don't get much blacker than that. Like the only thing blacker than Oakland is probably Compton. And then after that is like some hood of Chicago. And after that, like where you going? Houston? Atlanta? Like, like what are we talking about here? She's black. She went to an historically black college and pledged a black fraternity. A black sorority. Like, what are we talking about? This is a black woman. Okay, she used her Indian side. Oh, she can do that. They're born with two cards. They can use both. And matter of fact, saying that you're Indian is probably one of the blackest things you can do. And if you're black, you get what I'm saying. If you're black, you get what I'm saying. But because all black people end up claiming like it's a thing. I'll explain the little cultural joke right there. It's a thing where black people would always like say, "Oh, I'm part Indian. I'm part Indian." Like it was a thing growing up. It was a thing. I don't know why. Like anytime you had good hair, like black people would be like, "Oh, I'm part Indian." Like dead serious. Even though it was Native American and not Indian, like Indian from India. You know what I'm saying? Like her mother's from India, Indian. It's still funny. Honestly, we all have a mixture of something. Some people are 100% stupid. Facts. Big facts. Big facts. Anyway, I'm gonna let them continue because this is crazy.
Harris is a fantastic person who just interviewed me at length. And we had a great interview, I think, and I heard you got very good ratings on that.
Well, you told me it was the longest one of your.
So also see what he's doing here. He's dividing and conquering, right? He's dividing and conquering. He knows he can't get nowhere with Shawty in the blue, so he's talking past her and getting himself and going to a friendly party to talk, which is crazy. Like he's just trying to bypass her. All right.
So we had a good discussion. Look, I want to talk about why you're here today. I mean, it is not lost on us how divided we are as a country.
Mm-hmm.
And as you were coming today, we really got to see that we were divided along the lines of race, along the lines of gender. And there is this question of, in this moment where we are, why come here? What is your message today?
My message is to stop people from invading our country that are taking, frankly, a lot of problems with it. But one of the big problems, and a lot of the journalists in this room I know and I have great respect for, a lot of the journalists in this room are Black. I will tell you that coming from the border are millions and millions of people that happen to be taking Black jobs. You have the best.
What exactly is a Black job?
A Black job is anybody that has a job. That's what it is. Anybody that has a job. They're taking the employment away from Black people. They're coming in, they're invading. It's an invasion of millions of people, probably 15, 16, 17 million people. I have a feeling it's much more than that. And everybody's been seeing what's happened. The first group of people, the Black population, is affected most by that. And Kamala is allowing it to happen. She's the border czar. She's the worst border czar in the history of the world. There's never been a border czar like this. She's never even essentially been. She said she was there once, but not the right part of the border. So she was a border czar. She's done a horrible job. These people are coming into our country and they're taking Black jobs and Hispanic jobs. And frankly, they're taking union jobs. Unions are being very badly affected by all of the millions of people that are pouring into our country. And one thing, as we discussed, many of these people are coming in from mental institutions, from prisons, from jails. They're gang members in other countries. Other countries are setting loose their prisoners. They're opening up their prisons and their mental institutions, and they're taking their bad people, drug dealers, gang members, and they're bringing them into the United States. And by the way, their crime rate is going down. And our crime rate is going to be a disaster.
Mr. President, I want to get into how you address some of the issues with Black communities. And I say that plural because we live in communities of color that are different.
All right. But listen. That was by far. Okay, so look, this is the problem with him. Black Josh, he's a total clown. Yes, he's a total clown. However, there is like this smidge of truth there, right? Like low income communities are the ones that are typically the first hit by illegal immigration, because typically they're taking jobs that you could have gotten. However, here's the problem. There's the truth in what he said, but then here's the problem. The problem is they're taking jobs nobody wants. Nobody wants to do housekeeping. Nobody wants to go on a farm and pick anything. You name it, people don't want to go on a farm and do it. All right. Farm hands are few and far between. All right. That are not Hispanic, that are not illegal immigrants. Like for real. It's bad. It's real bad. It's so bad. They've had to come up with programs to help those people come and work. Most people in low income communities don't want to work. That's I no, I can't prescribe to that. I can't prescribe to that. It's not most people don't want to work. That's not it at all. They just want to work and be to a level to where they can actually take care of themselves. They're tired of working and struggling. That's what it is. No, nobody, like, it feels like it's never ending. It's literally financial. A lot of them are in like basically financial slavery. Like that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I would not say they're taking Black jobs. They're taking low income jobs. It just so happens a lot of Black people are in a low income category, but that does not necessarily make that job a Black job. That's how you stay on government benefits. The majority of the people that are on government benefits are white people, okay? Because they're majority of the country. That's what it is. They're the majority. All right. Then it's followed by it goes literally down by National Demographics. Then it goes Black people. Then it goes Hispanics. Like, and there's very few Asians. A lot of there's actually more Native Americans on benefits than there are I think if I remember like the percentage, I think there's more Native Americans, which there are not even a lot of them, than there are Asians on government assistance and benefits. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the last time I seen the data, that's what it was, which was like wild to me. But needless to say, that's what it is. He shouldn't have said black jobs. There's no such thing as black jobs. Yet there's no such thing as black jobs. Like that's what I'm getting at. There's low income jobs. You know what I'm saying? There's low wage jobs, low barrier to entry jobs. You know what I'm saying? Entry level jobs. Yes, Native Americans have their own benefits. However, a lot of them still are on government assistance as well. Like just dead serious. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. I'm not even trying to make an argument for it. I'm literally just the data. The data is right there. The data's right there. It's Googleable. It's Googleable. You can correct me if I'm lying. You can correct me if I'm lying, but it's on Google. It's on Google. I'm literally just parroting what I seen. But with that being said, this was one of his more idiotic moments of this interview. Let's continue because it only gets better from here.
We don't vote the same. We don't think the same. It's not monolithic.
Okay, hold on.
So as you come to how you address some of the issues with Black communities, and I say that plural because we live in communities of color that are different. We're not all the same. We don't vote the same. We don't think the same. It's not monolithic. So as you come here today, I want to talk about something that bursts, and this is the weight of the inflation on this country right now. The nonprofit Money Management International recently released data from its mid-year analysis that we have found a 52% rise in people who are seeking counseling for being in credit debt. They're paying for food that is sky high on their credit cards, and now they can't pay that off. The credit counseling nonprofit MMI, as I said, is saying now that they've seen surges that they haven't seen since we were in a pandemic of people in financial trouble. Much of that falls on the shoulders of single moms, single Black moms, when you look statistically. Yeah. How do you turn it around? What's your plan for the Black community when it comes to money?
So, first of all, it's very hard to hear you for whatever reason because of the fact that they have bad equipment, because I guess, this woman was unable to get the right equipment. But it's very hard for me to hear you, but I can hear every other word. It's very difficult, actually. But so I don't know if they can fix it or do.
So, look, what he's trying to do here, and I'm not going to let him get past that. First of all, he blames Shorty in the Blue for the audio thing. He can hear her just fine because he heard her just fine for the other one. He can hear her just fine, right? That's one. Two, he's trying to get Blue and Pink to switch places so he doesn't have to look at her. That's what he doesn't want to have to look at her. He doesn't want to have to engage with her at all. He does not respect Black women at all. But anyway, let's let him keep going.
With it, but I'll do the best I can with it. The inflation is absolutely destroying our middle class, our working class, virtually every class. Inflation is a disaster in our country. Inflation is a country buster. It breaks every country. And we had, in my opinion, the worst inflation we've had. They say it's 58 years, but I think it's much more than that. It's been devastating. And if you just take a look at a lot of things they don't include, like interest rates. Interest rates went from 2.4% to 10%, and you can't get the money. People can't buy houses. They no longer have the American dream. Young people, young Black people, they don't have the American dream anymore. They can't buy a house. They can't borrow the money because of the cost of the money. They can't buy it because of the cost of housing, because of the cost to build it, because of inflation. Inflation is a disaster, and it's destroying our country, and it's destroying the Black community probably as much.
So what do you do? What's your plan?
You know what we have to do? We have to bring down the cost of energy, and that's going to bring down the cost of inflation. This was all started with a bad energy policy by Joe Biden. By the way, just if I might, I was running against a man named Biden. You probably saw that. And he was losing very badly in the polls. And then he had a rather bad debate. I would say it was a bad debate. I'd say it was one of the worst debates in history. And his poll numbers crashed. And instead of saying, let's keep going, and maybe something happens the other way, they said, oh, we're going to replace him. Let's just replace him. That's like you're in a fight, a prize fighter's in a fight. He's not doing well. You say, let's bring in another fighter. So our whole campaign was steered toward him, and now we have to steer toward him. But ultimately, it's the same because they have bad policy. They have policies of open borders, unbelievable open borders, horrible energy policies. They want to get rid of, as you say, gasoline in cars. They want to get rid of oil. They want to get rid of efficient heating.
Mr. President.
Environmentally, what they're doing is killing our country. They're absolutely destroying our country. But the inflation is the thing that's hurting the black worker, the black population, and every other population within our country. Inflation is the worst it's been, I think, in over 100 years. And they'll fact check it. They'll say it's only 58, whatever it may be. They don't add all the numbers. They don't add the really bad numbers, and you can check that too. But inflation, Harris, is absolutely destroying this country and the people in our country. Yes,
Mr. President, can I ask you another question?
Yes.
That is also impacting Black Americans?
and that's very clear.
Hold on. This man still didn't answer the question. They let him get away with that. There's not much I can say, but he didn't answer the question. The question was, what are you going to do to help black people with inflation? What are you going to do for our community? He had no plan. So he just said, oh, let me just blame Biden, talk crap about him, and then let me pivot to I've never seen anything like this. Oh my God. Deflation 4,000, please. At all. Look, at all. He ain't even try. He didn't even try to answer the question. He didn't even try. He just avoided it at all costs. He's like, I ain't got no plan. What do I do? Go into his normal bag of trips. Blame Biden. I feel like his bag is just full of Biden's name and blaming him because he's old. Oh my God. Anyway. Hopefully this next question they keep on track.
I'm sorry.
It's very clear. I hear you.
Okay. So Sonya Massey, someone from Illinois, an unarmed Black woman, was shot the other day in her home by a deputy sheriff. The deputy has since been charged with murder. You said police would get immunity for prosecution if you win.
This is a good
Why
question.
should someone like that officer have immunity, in your opinion?
Immunity?
Immunity.
I don't know the exact case, but I saw something, and it didn't look good to me. It didn't look good to me. Are you talking with the water, right?
Yeah, well, police. Police unions are not backing this person either. But again,
they're going to be charging the officer. I guess they're charging the officer.
So why should he receive immunity?
Well, he might not. I mean, it depends. It depends on what happens. I'm talking about people that are much different cases than that. We need people to protect ourselves. And by the way, in Chicago, as an example, a few weeks ago, July 4th weekend, there were 117 shootings and 17 deaths. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. We need to have our police officers have the respect and dignity back. In this particular case, I saw something that didn't look good to me. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
So can you get a little more specific back to the immunity question? Who would make those distinctions?
Well, right now, for the most part, people are protected by their unions, by their police unions, or by their police departments. But I'm saying if I felt, or if a group of people would feel that somebody was being unfairly prosecuted because the person did a good job maybe with crime or made a mistake, an innocent mistake. There's a big difference between being a bad person and making an innocent mistake. But if somebody made an innocent mistake, I would want to help that person.
What would those exceptions be? What would determine?
You go after somebody and it's a very close call and it's very dangerous. And they have the policeman's life and woman is a very difficult thing because sometimes you have less than a second to make a, life and death decision. And sometimes very bad decisions are made. They're not made from an evil standpoint, but they're made from the standpoint of they made a mistake.
So I want to follow up really quickly.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Because first of all, how did he get to Chicago? Wait a minute. He said he would become the first. He would use. Whoa! I didn't know he said that with the National Guard talking about destroying Chicago. How Chicago get to it? Look, I don't know. Okay, they have allowed this man to dance like he's literally dancing. He's making them look bad. He's disrespecting them and he's making them look bad because y'all can't hold his feet to nobody's fire, like at all. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Like, let's get to it. Get to the business. Like, hold him account. What makes him immune? He didn't answer the question. He made a good point about though. And this is the only point I have to give him. Those split second decisions where, like, you know what I'm saying, a cop has to react like in like 0.2 of a second and doesn't know exactly, like they're chasing some suspect and they don't know what they're holding, you know what I'm saying, and they have to react and then they end up killing the suspect. um I can see where somebody could look at that scenario and go, okay, like this person made a mistake while like okay, they thought they had a gun or whatever, but they didn't know like what they had. um you know, so they shot at him anyway, just in case, because if you've ever been, and this is something I think would give everybody a lot of perspective. Everybody should go through one of those drills where you have a split second to react to somebody and save yourself and others. Like, you'll realize how fast that happens, how fast somebody can close the distance with a knife, how fast somebody could pull out a gun and end up shooting you instead. Like, things happen so fast and so much faster than you can even react to them. It makes no sense. So I get in that scenario, and only in those scenarios where it's like a clear accident. But when you have these officers caught in 4K, like with Sonya Massey, uh, and they shoot, and all she had was a thing of water when she's about to pour it out. Like, she's not gonna do anything to you. She literally was like, "Yo, I'm gonna pour out this water." She's holding it with oven mitts. You know what I'm saying? And once she rebuked the devil in you, then you up the gun on her. You up a gun on her? Like, yeah, that man deserves to go to jail because her hands were up and all she had was oven mitts, and he blew her brains out. Um, he said if he became president for a time, he would use. Oh, wait, no, this one. That's true. Someone will tell you they have a gun and reach into their waistband as if they're retrieving a gun. Yeah, those type of scenarios. I'm like, buddy, what were you thinking? Like, what were you thinking? Like, if it and this is how I gauge those situations. I put myself in there and I go, would I shoot that person? That's the only thing I can do to gauge the situation properly. Would I shoot this person? Would I have kept choking this person? Would I have kept my knee in this person's back? Would I have, like, doing different like, I ask myself, and if my answer is no, then you're wrong. If my answer is no, you're wrong. You know what I'm saying? And there's some scenarios, there's been a handful and really small, and I'm not like this vocal guy like that really goes out and talks about all that stuff. But there's been a few scenarios where the black person got shot, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, if it was me, I'm shooting you too. And I think the problem is that people see that there's a lot more restraint when it comes to people of other nationalities, especially when it comes to white people. They seem to get more grace than black people do when dealing with the police. So a lot of people, they feel a way about that, and that's just a fact. That's just a fact. They do. They do. I watch cops all the time. I watch those long crime videos all the time, and I see these white people get a lot more grace. Like one dude got so much grace that he was able to blow his own mother's brains out in front of the officers. How do you get that much grace? How do you get that much grace? And then the officers had to kill him. So now the young man, he killed his parents, all of them now successfully, and he's dead. And that could have been prevented if he was black. If he was black, it would have been prevented. As soon as that young man would have walked down those steps out to the yard with those officers, he would have been gone. They were like, "Put your hands up, put your hands up." Would have got him up out of there. But no, they gave him grace. Because why? They could see their self in him. Anyway, let's see. People definitely can sign up for the Citizens Academy and get a taste of how long it takes to react. Thank you. I didn't know what it was called, bro, but I've been through it once, bro. That ooh, boy, hey, you can't react. You can't react. You just can't. Like you end up upping it on them every time.
I find it interesting because you do talk about reining in prosecutors, especially when it comes to prosecutors that are prosecuting you. Why doesn't that skepticism apply to law enforcement?
Well, I've been prosecuted because I'm a political opponent of two people that have weaponized our justice system. I've been prosecuted. I just won the big case in Florida. Everyone said that was the biggest case. That was the most difficult case. And I just won it. Now, Biden has a similar case, except much worse. I was protected under the Presidential Records Act. Biden wasn't, because he wasn't president at the time. And he had 50 years worth of documents. And they ruled that he was incompetent, and therefore he shouldn't stand trial. And I said, isn't that something? He's incompetent and he can't stand trial, and yet he can be president. Isn't that nice?
Mr. President,
but they released him on the basis that he was incompetent. They said he had no memory, and he was a nice old guy, but he had no memory, and said, therefore we're not going to prosecute him. I won the case, and it got very little publicity. I didn't notice ABC doing any publicity on it, George.
we covered you extensively, sir. I'd love to move over on to
Okay. All right. So look, you're what? All right. So listen, that's why I named this episode. What was that? So listen. This is very simple. All right. What he's talking about is just a straight up, again, not answering the question. He ain't answered at all. So listen, I'm gonna tell y'all what actually happened. I'm gonna do the live fact check for y'all. So look, here's what actually happened. The judge that he appointed down in Florida in his records case, which is more than likely about to be appealed, she dismissed the case. All right, he didn't win. She dismissed the case on the grounds that the special prosecutor, excuse me, I can't talk. A special prosecutor isn't necessary, or like is illegal. That's what it was. A special prosecutor is illegal, and it's a misuse of funds or some mess like that. Like I was like, what the like, and she did it, right? So obviously that's going to be appealed by the special counsel, which is going to be absolutely hilarious when it does happen. He's cooked. He's cooked in that records case. He's cooked. The difference between him and Biden didn't have a case. Like there was no trial. They asked him, they said, hey, from your time as vice president, do you have these records? He said, yeah, I do. Here they go. And gave them to him. And then when he found more, he turned those in too. Because he's a he's a vice president. He moves around. He gets around. He's everywhere. So he you know what I'm saying? He just ended up with like stuff in a little bit of everywhere. Was it wrong for him to have those records? Absolutely. But the general thing is with presidents, present and vice presidents, present and former, is when they figure out, hey, we don't have this, can you provide this? And they ask, you turn it in. And then it's a nothing burger. That's why we've never heard about these stories. The only reason Trump got in trouble is because he would not give them the stuff back. He had it in a bathroom, in a closet, for Christ's sakes. He had it in a bathroom, in a closet. He wouldn't give them the stuff back. That's what happened. That's what happened with him. Anyway, let's get back to it.
Notice you do any publicity on it at all. I won the case, the biggest case. This is an attack.
He didn't
on a
win.
Political opponent. I have another one where
Sir,
I have a hostile judge.
we have you for a limited time, sir. I'd love to move on to different
No,
topics.
excuse
if
you,
we
you're the
can.
one that held me up for 35 minutes, just so you understand.
Wow.
If we can move on now to the state of the race, sir, I want to get back to the campaign. Senator J.D. Vance is your running mate. He's had a lot of controversy lately, and I want to read you a few things that he has said in the past. He said the Democrats running the country are a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices they've made. And so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. He's not talking here about how great it is to be a parent. He's attacking what he says are the choices people are making to not have children. Did you know that he had these views about people who do not have children before you picked him to be your running mate? And do you agree with him?
No, I know this. He is very family oriented and he thinks family is a great thing. That doesn't mean he thinks that if you don't have a family, it's not. I know people with families. I know people with great families. I know people with very troubled families. And I also know people with no families. They didn't meet the right person. Things happen. You go through life, you don't meet the right person.
But he's not just talking
Excuse
about
me.
families here.
And
He also
some of
says that
those
people that
people-
don't have children should get less votes than
That's
those
all
that
right.
do.
I'm just speaking for myself.
that your
And I think
campaign
I'm
position?
speaking for him too. He strongly believes in family. I know people with great families. I know people with not great families that don't have a family. And the people without the family are far better. They're superior in many cases. Okay? He's not saying they're not. What he's saying is that he thinks the family experience is a very important thing. It's a very good thing. But that doesn't mean that if you grow up and you grow older and you don't meet somebody that would be wonderful to meet and would have been good, that's a bad thing. He's not saying that. My interpretation, you'll have to ask him actually, but my interpretation is he's strongly family oriented, but that doesn't mean if you don't have a family, there's something wrong with it.
Just
Mr.
one last
President?
point and then we'll move on. Just one of the bedrock principles.
Okay, again. Exactly. Many of these people see this man has got, bro. Listen. This is another time. This man didn't answer this question. Again, he did not actually answer like he kind of answered the question saying that, oh, he thinks da 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 da. But it doesn't touch the actual like point of the question, right? Because he's literally ragged on people for not having children. Let me tell you, JD Vance, sir, and Mr. President Trump, the reason why people don't have children is because of what y'all were talking about earlier is inflation. Okay, people cannot afford. Okay, most people cannot even afford to take care of themselves, let alone another individual. So they're looking at their lives and they're like, how do I provide a lifestyle that is good for both me and my child? How do I do it? How do I take care of us? People can't see it. People don't know how to do it. They can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Therefore, people are. Oh wow. Okay, I'm back. But yeah, so therefore, people are not having children. That's what it boils down to. Like, children ain't for the weak. Hey, listen, and you're married. You're married, so you have help, and it ain't easy. Like a lot of people, they're single out here and trying to do it, and people look at them and they go, "Oh no, they saying it ain't easy, and it don't look good." So it don't look fun. It's expensive. You know what I'm saying? And people are broke themselves. How do you feed somebody else when you go to bed some nights hungry? Like people can't think about children. Like that doesn't sound like a good environment for children. It just does not. So people are foregoing children. But that's not just an America problem. That is a problem globally. Globally, birth rates are down. In all places except like Africa. Africa's birth rate is like still constant. Like, hey, I don't know what they got going on over there, but it's constant. South America's birth rate, I think, in most places, like it's not as low as everywhere else, continent wise. But when you go to the other continents, and then you go break those continents down by country, the birth rate is down, like plummeting low. Japan, like 0.7. China is point something, point whatever digit, it's like 9 or 8 or whatever. You need a 1.7 or like to 2, 3, I believe, to have a good population, like a growing population, or to maintain the current population you have. Russia, negative. Not negative. Is it negative? I think Russia might be a negative birth rate right now. Which is that's crazy. How y'all having negative babies? The Dominican Republic. I don't know how the DR is doing, but I don't think their birth rate is bad. I think it's a constant. I think it's whatever they've had. I haven't heard one way or the other, and I haven't looked at their numbers really, but I haven't heard anything negative. I know Africa is still on the up and up though. Europe is down, like all the countries. It's just down. That's any Western or industrialized nation, like it's typically down. Like right now, we're just down. Like if you basically, I put it this way: if you have like broadband internet, you know what I'm saying, and you're like a big country, like over I say like 50 million, like your birth rate is negative, like or not or low. It's either negative or low. Like people are like losing. The only reason America is still good is because we have influx of immigrants, people coming to America. People aren't leaving our country in droves. People are still coming here in droves. Um, so yeah, there's that part. Yeah. So that's how I feel about the Dominican Republic and all that. Anyway, let's get back to Trump and this interview because we still got
of American life is one person, one vote. Senator J.D. Vance has suggested that someone who has children should have more votes than a person who does not have children. I just want to be clear here. Is that the position of your campaign?
Well, no, but
hold on, I'm gonna answer this real quick. No, it's not anchor babies. It's not anchor babies. It's literally people that are coming here to work, that stay, illegal immigrants that are coming over the border. Because I believe our birth rate is like 1.6, and then plus immigration, it puts us at 2.2 or 2.3, which is what you need, like to maintain your population or to grow. So yeah, that's what it is. We're still pushing in a very positive direction. Yeah.
something I have ever heard before. I can tell you this. Right now, you have illegal aliens coming into our country, many from prisons and many from mental institutions, and they want to give them votes. I don't think they should have votes. They came into our country illegally, and they're taking the vote away from all of the people in this room that have been here a long time, that have worked hard, that in many cases, and you'll see this happening, if I'm not elected, you're going to see it happen. If I am, you're not going to have any problem. But you're going to see it happening a long time. You're going to see the people in this room and people outside of this room are going to be losing their jobs to people that have come into this country illegally.
Mr. President, can we stay with just kind of the state of the race right now? Because I felt like that vice president.
Okay. One, again, he didn't answer the question. Two, what he said was absolutely irrelevant, and factually just untrue. Like it's just not gonna happen. Illegal immigrants cannot vote. Okay, you have to be an American citizen. You have to be an American citizen. That is how that works. That's how that works. We're done. All right.
Question, candidate question was right in there with that. So let's talk about J.D. Vance for a little bit. He's had some stumbles out of the gate. I don't know if you're hearing what we hear as reporters, but it's been a tough couple of weeks for him. Why did you choose J.D. Vance?
Why
did you choose him? And I'm having a hard time hearing too. Everybody out there can, but it's hard.
I'll tell you what. I chose him because he's a very strong believer in work.
Oh my God. Listen, y'all can hear this, right? What's so funny about this, right? What's so funny about this is that Trump, oh my God, Dude said he couldn't hear, right? She said she couldn't hear. And there's some dude in the crowd that said, that said he's fine. That it's fine. He just yells it out. He yells it out. I really want to know if y'all can hear it too. This is fucking hilarious.
That have been here a long time, that have worked hard, that in many cases, and you'll see this happening, if I'm not elected, you're going to see it happening. If I am, you're not going to have any problem. But you're going to see it happening a long time. You're going to see the people that have come into this country.
I don't know if you're hearing what we hear as reporters, but it's been a tough couple of weeks for him. Why did you choose J.D. Vance?
Why
did you choose him? And I'm having a hard time hearing too.
I chose him
everybody out
because-
there can, but it's hard.
I'll tell you
to
what. I chose him because he's a very strong believer in.
I don't know if y'all can hear that. It's fine.
and the
I don't know if y'all
working
can hear
man
that.
and
It's
woman.
fucking hilarious.
And especially the working man and woman who have been treated very unfairly, because you have many of them in this room. But you have many of those people that were treated very unfairly. They worked very hard and they were treated unfairly. He wrote the book that became a bestseller. The movie became a smash hit. He's a very smart guy. Without the
Okay,
benefit
y'all
of
couldn't hear it.
having
It's okay.
a family that has contacts, like a father that was well connected. He got into Yale Law School. He graduated in 2 years from Ohio State, summa cum laude. I mean, you take a look at, his career has been an amazing career. He started off at a level with a difficult family situation, very difficult with the mother and father and everything else. He ends up going to Yale Law School, was one of the top students, became the head of the law journal. I mean, it's an amazing thing. He's a 4-year, he was in the military with great distinction for 4 years.
Hey, hold on. When you say no, you can't hear. What do you mean by that? Like you can't hear any of the video, period? Like the audio's gone? Do y'all mean the audio's gone? Hey, do y'all mean the audio was gone? Like y'all couldn't hear any of the video, period? Or like what? I just need to know. Because if I need to fix something, I need to fix it. You know what I'm saying? No, I can hear fine. Okay. All right, cool. Okay. Y'all just couldn't hear the dude yell that part out. All right. That's fine. Because it is kind of low, but I could hear it myself.
Got out, went into business, became successful in business, very successful in business, actually. Did public offerings and other things. And I have to believe in that. I mean, he's somebody that was born in a rough situation. Most of the people know that situation because it was very well documented in his book. And I have a lot of respect for somebody that can get into Yale and become one of the best students in Yale, that meets a young woman at Yale who was also outstanding, and they get married, they have a beautiful family. But he had he's made himself an amazing life. He then goes to Ohio, lives in Ohio, and he had my endorsement. That helped. He wins the Senate. He becomes a United States Senator. So he's a United States Senator. And so, Harris, like I respect you for your success, I respect people for their success.
The reason I asked the question is because the last time you and I sat and talked was
Okay, that is the only time and the first time this whole time that he's actually answered the question, because they asked him why did he pick him, and he goes through and he lists that man's accomplishments that he's done throughout his life, and he's like, I like that. I like what he got going on. I want this man around me. I want him to take over if if I'm not able to. It continue, if something happens to me. That's an answer. Whether you like Trump or not, that is a clear, concise, well, rather long-winded, but an answer. But he's still a narcissist because he still threw in there. He won Ohio. I mean, I helped. I endorsed him, so my endorsement helped. Like, just crazy. Anyway, let's continue.
Shot. We've been together for much of that day. You left to go to Butler, Pennsylvania, and we didn't know what was next.
Yeah.
And 2 days after that,
I cannot understand your microphone.
I know it is really hard for me.
I mean, it's just, I can understand you perfectly.
Push this closer.
I can understand.
Oh my God! Wow!
I can't understand.
Wow!
few more questions.
because of the distance, and the mics are really in lousy shape, but I cannot understand
So,
what you're saying.
so what I wanted to say was the last time we spoke, you said some words that were prophetic because I asked you who you wanted to choose for vice president.
Yeah.
And you said normally it really wouldn't matter what they would bring, you choose somebody that you think has a future, that sort of thing. But you said these words 3.5 hours before an attempted assassination on your life. You told me that bad things happen, Harris. And that's why this decision is important this time. Bad things happen. You said it twice. When you look at JD Vance, is he ready on day one?
Does he what?
Ready on day one, if he has to be.
I've always had great respect for him, and for the other candidates too. But I will say this, and I think this is well documented. Historically, the vice president, in terms of the election, does not have any impact. I mean, virtually no impact. You have 2 or 3 days where there's a lot of commotion as to who, like you're having it on the Democrat side, who it's going to be. And then that dies down, and it's all about the presidential pick. Virtually never has it mattered. Maybe Lyndon Johnson mattered for different reasons than what we're talking about, not for vote reasons, but for political reasons, other political reasons. But historically, the choice of a vice president makes no difference. You're voting for the president, and you can have a vice president who's outstanding in every way. And I think JD is. I think that all of them would have been. But you're not voting that way. You're voting for the president. You're voting for me. If you like me, I'm going to win. If you don't like me, I'm not going to win.
I'm going to get my JD Vance question in.
JD Vance.
I'm going to get my JD.
Okay, so again, he actually answered a question here, and I don't mind that answer. Like I don't mind it. I don't know. Like I seen somebody online had a problem with that too, and I was like, this wasn't even that bad. Like this was just like, it was the truth. Like if you don't like him, if more people don't like him, then he's not gonna win. If more people like him, then he's going to win. That's it. That's it. People vote more on emotion than they do on actual policy. Like for real. Like people vote more on emotion than they do actual policy. Because if people voted on actual policy, things would be different, and the way that people would have to campaign would be different. But that's just not true. That's just not true. People don't vote on policy. They vote on emotion and how somebody makes me feel.
Question. To your point and to Rachel's point, he, has a lot of opinions about childless women like myself or divorced people like yourself. Do you think? Well, I mean, my point is here.
It was said in a friendly manner.
My point is, do you think the Republican Party is getting a little bit too judgy about people's lives when you think about abortion or when you think about what JD Vance is saying?
I don't think, look, I think that the Democrat Party is really the one that has the problem. I think they're radical on abortion because they're allowing abortion in the 9th month. They're allowing the death of a baby after the baby is born, based on the governor of Virginia. Based on the governor of Virginia, they're allowing the death of the baby after it's born. They're allowing abortions in the 8th and 9th month.
Well, Democrats have denied.
I think they're right. And I think the Republican Party is actually much less. I think I've made them much less radical, perhaps. But the Republican Party, what we're doing is bringing it back to the states where everybody wanted it. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservative, everybody wanted abortion brought back. They didn't want Roe v. Wade in the federal government. They wanted it, everybody.
But the majority of Americans oppose Roe v. Wade being overturned.
They don't know about this. Right now, they're voting. It brought it back to the states. Now, I happen to believe in the 3 exceptions. Ronald Reagan believed with rape, incest, life of the mother. I do. I think most people do. I think most Republicans do also. But if you take a look, right now they're doing, it's an amazing thing. Out of the federal government, it's in states, and people are voting. And I will say, Ohio is, let's call it a more liberal version, has been approved. Kansas, the same thing, a little bit surprising to a lot of people. But the people are now voting. and is taking this issue that's been going on for 52 years and has torn our country apart, and it's giving it to the people to vote on. And they're voting. And many states have already voted. Others are in the process of voting. And it's bringing it back to the people and a vote of the people. And it's not at all radical. And again, you have to follow your heart. I happen to believe in the three exceptions. Most people believe in the three exceptions. Most Republicans believe in the exceptions. But they don't want to see an abortion in the 9th month or the 8th month. Almost everybody agrees to that. And they certainly don't want to see, in the case of the governor of Virginia, the former governor, I might add, who said, we set the baby aside and then we decide what to do. Meaning, what do? We execute the baby. That's a radical, horrible position. And some people want that. I don't want it. Most people don't.
Thank you.
Okay. First of all, I guess credit to him for answering the question. No, they're not late term. I don't think. Hold on, let me read this. I honestly think the term conservative should no longer be used, especially when it comes to government spending. Yeah, everybody blowing money, bro. Everybody, every side is blowing money. It's just what they blowing money on. So listen. First of all, let's get to the bread and butter of what he's saying. So first of all, no, nobody was aborting in the 8th or 9th month. It was not happening. Did not happen. Did not happen. Didn't happen. All right. The only time that may or may not have happened, and that ended up being, it wasn't even an abortion. It ended up being more of an actual like C-section of sorts. Oh my God, did this thing actually freeze on me? It did. It did. It did. It did. I'll be right back. All right. Yes, stillbirth. It's a stillbirth. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so there's that. Let me get the other thing back up on the screen here. Let me get that back up on the screen. Boom. Stab. Boom. Boom. Okay. All right, I got Buddy back. I'm back. All right, cool. Anyway, now that glitch is out the way. Yeah, that's not happening. All right. Two, I'm not against what he's saying as far as like what he said, as far as like most people are uh against people trying to limit it completely and are for the three exceptions, which is uh uh sexual assault, incest, and incest, sexual assault, incest, and what's the other one? What's the other one? I can't remember the other one right now. My mind's blinking out. But the three exceptions, everybody's pretty much on board, which is true. Which is true. I think if you polled a country, it's like 90 something percent of people. Like it's a high percentage. At the low end, it's probably like 85. A high percentage of Americans are like in those cases, like nobody should have to carry that to term. Nobody should have to. Like that's kind of effed up. Yeah, and then you have stillbirths or whatever. But I don't think there's like if you can't make nobody have like those stillborn children, you can't make nobody was doing that. I don't disagree with the states, people being able to vote on whether or not like what type of abortion your state has. But I do disagree with places that are like just straight up just axed it out completely. Because again, they're doing it on the preference of what they find to be morally correct, excuse me, from their religious standpoint. And we have separation of church and state for a reason. And even though I fundamentally disagree with certain things religiously that other people do, I'm not going to hold I'm not going to hold everybody to the same standard. I don't think that should happen. Anyway, let's get back to it. We got 9 minutes left, and then I'm done with dude.
Pivot really quickly to another question about you brought up health, Harris. You're an active man. We see you golfing all the time. But if you win, you'll still be president at 82, which is older than Biden is right now.
But not mentally. Look, mentally. He's got. But most people.
Would you consider?
Most people. I know many people in their 80s and their 90s that are in great shape. Some of our greatest leaders. You look at throughout the world history, the greatest leaders, some of the greatest leaders in the world were in their 80s.
But here's the question. Would you consider stepping down if you felt that your health was declining? Or would you?
Absolutely.
And who would?
I think I'd know.
How would you make that decision?
I think I'd know. Look, if I came onto a stage like this and I got treated so rudely as this woman treated
Oh my goodness.
Wow. He keeps attacking her.
Because she was very rude, sir. Very rude. That wasn't a question. She didn't ask me a question. She gave a statement. That wasn't a question.
I repeated your statement, sir, actually.
You said
If I thought that I was failing, I want people to be shocked. I'll go a step further.
Look, that was absolutely true. She did just repeat things that he had already said, and he got upset. Like most of the stuff that she said was stuff from him. He just couldn't deal with it. He couldn't take hearing his own language back at him. He couldn't look in the mirror. Narcissist individuals love to pose themselves as a victim. That's facts. That's facts. And he's a perpetual victim.
Anybody running for president to take an aptitude test, to take a cognitive test, I think it's a great idea. And I took 2 of them and I aced them.
You don't ace a cognitive test.
Yeah.
I would like to have people running for president, and I don't mean because they're 75 or 85. I think anybody running, I'd like to do it. People say it's not constitutional. I would like to have something passed where you can do it. I think we should know. I mean, I've watched what's happened in the last couple of years under this gentleman, and our country is a mess. We have inflation. We have the millions of people falling in. We have Afghanistan, which was the worst, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. What he has done to.
So, okay, look, I'm not going to let him get that off. Afghanistan policy and the agreement that was set up with Afghanistan was done under his administration. When Biden got in office, there was nothing he could do to walk that back because it was signed in wet ink. We said we were leaving completely. So we had to. Yeah, the racial microaggressions, facts. He has no respect for Black women at all. You know what I'm saying? And it shows through this panel. Mostly he don't have respect for Black people in general. He thinks we're dumb or something. Like he's getting one up. Like, no, we probably pay more attention than other groups of people do, because we have the most to lose typically in most scenarios, because we're not the benefactor, but we will receive we're the benefactor of all the bad. I'll put it that way. We're the benefactor of all the bad. We don't get the good, but when it comes time to get the bad, we get all the bad. Not saying that other racial groups don't get their own share of bad. We get the bulk of bad though. Anyway, continue.
Country and her too. What they've done to our country, she has been a horrible vice president. She's considered the worst vice president in the history of our country.
What?
Would you consider taking a cognitive test?
How do you know that?
I would love to
And make it public.
Well, I've already taken 2 of them, but I'll do it again.
Mr. President, how do you intend to?
I suggested, Harris, that let's take one. I said, Joe and I will go and take a cognitive test. Now, I'd do it with her too. I would do it with her also. You know what? She failed her law exam. She didn't pass her law exam, so maybe she wouldn't pass the cognitive test.
Mr. President.
Like, that's just.
I'm just giving you the facts.
That's crazy.
She didn't pass her bar exam, and she didn't think she would pass it, and she didn't think she was going to ever pass it. And I don't know what happened. Maybe she passed it. I guess
pass it.
there's a man over here. I think he must work.
Mr. President, I would love to ask.
So look, hold on. So look, here's the thing. He's aggressive towards the crowd and dismissive. He's dismissive towards the people on stage. Saying that about Kamala, okay, look, there's nothing wrong. Okay, there's nothing wrong with failing. Right? There's nothing wrong with failing. What happens is you pick yourself up and then you try again. She did that. She failed. She picked herself up. She tried again, and then guess what? Wow. Okay, the green screen tripping. Anyway, she fell back and she got her stuff together and she won big. You know what I'm saying? She became a DA. That means she had to get her law certificate. What he's trying to imply is that she did a sexual favor to get over the bar. And they've been running that weird campaign too, saying that she's the original Hawk Tuah girl. Like I seen it on X, and I was like, "Are you serious?" Well, Twitter or whatever. Like I seen it on there, and I'm like, "Are y'all serious? Y'all can't be serious right now." But they was dead ass. They was dead ass serious. They was dead ass serious. Like that's so disrespectful, bro. That's mad disrespectful. Like she has a law degree. She has things you don't have, bro. Certify her intelligence.
Out January 6th. You called yourself the candidate of law and order. When Time Magazine asked you if you would consider pardoning all the rioters, you said, yes, absolutely. Sure. You called them patriots. 140 police officers were assaulted that day. Their injuries included broken bones. At least one officer lost an eye. One had 2 cracked ribs, 2 smashed spinal discs. Another had a stroke. Were the people who assaulted those 140 officers, including those I just mentioned, patriots who deserve pardons?
Well, let me bring it back to modern day. Like about 5 days ago, we had an attack.
Deflection.
Horrible attack on the Capitol. You saw the people that were protesting.
And it wasn't an attack on the Capitol. They were just protesting in front of the Capitol.
Magnificent limestone and granite with red paint, red spray paint that will never actually come off, especially in the limestone. It will never, I'm a builder, I know about this stuff. It will never, you'll see it in 100 years from now. They viciously attacked our government. They fought with police. They fought with them much more openly than I saw on January 6th. What's going to happen to those people? What's going to happen to the people in Portland that destroyed that city?
My question is on those.
What's going to happen?
My question is on those rioters who assaulted officers.
Would
you pardon?
What's going to happen? Oh, absolutely, I would.
You would pardon
innocent, if they're innocent, I would pardon them.
They've been convicted.
And by the way, the Supreme Court, well, they were convicted by a very tough system. How come the people that tried to burn down Minneapolis, how come the people that took over a large percentage of Seattle, how come nothing happened to them? How come the people
so we're talking about people that were seen beating officers with flagpoles, dragging them down the stairs. They're on video. Have you seen that video, sir?
Well, you would pardon those
rioters?
They shot a young lady in the face who was protesting. They shot her in the face. You know, nobody died that day. You do know that. But people died in Seattle. Nobody died, but people died in...
Okay, I'm stopping them. There's too many lies. There's way too many lies. Okay, look, first of all, let's get in this bag. First of all right. People in Seattle were in charge because Seattle, people that did crimes were charged. People that didn't do crimes and was just protesting in the area, they were not charged. Eventually, they were told to get up out the area, and those people that would refuse to move, they were indeed arrested. That's a fact. That's a hard fact. Minneapolis, when the police could get somebody, they got them. Okay. Even at the Capitol, the Capitol, I don't know why I can't talk. The Capitol a couple days ago, which he's referring to, that riot over what is it, Netanyahu being here giving that speech, the Palestinians that were protesting and the people that were supporting him, people that did like arson and different things of that nature, and the police saw them, they caught them, and they are gonna end up facing charges for that. It's not like they didn't arrest 0 people. You just don't want to acknowledge that they arrested anybody. You know what I'm saying? They weren't in mass assaulting officers. They weren't in mass. Like she stated the injuries that happened to those officers. People did die. There's officers that died. And then there's that lady that got shot in the face by Secret Service that died. Or was it Capitol Police? Anyway, the guy was either Secret Service or Capitol Police. He told her if she climbs through that window, he's blasting her. She climbed through the window, and before she got all the way through, boom, he blasted her, and she fell back out, and she died on the spot, on the scene. Why? Because she didn't want to listen. She earned that bullet. He told her, don't step through the window. She broke it open, and she stepped into the window. The moment she did, he blew her fucking brains out. That well-deserved. You're an idiot. You're a moron. She died being stupid. Okay? She died being stupid. If somebody says, don't cross this line or I'm going to shoot you, you cross the line and you get shot. I'm not mad at nobody but you. You knew the rules. You knew what he was going to do. He told you. You didn't listen. You felt privileged. Okay? All those people that were in the building, they shouldn't have been there. They shouldn't have been there in the first place. They shouldn't have. Anyway, let's continue.
You know, people died in Minneapolis and nothing happens and nobody ever talks and nothing happens to those people. But you went after the J6 people with a vengeance. And I'll tell you what about the cops that were, and I'm all for the police, as you know, but what about the police that are ushering everybody into the Capitol? Go in. What about that? Look, nothing is perfect in life, but you have people from Minneapolis. You have people just from 5 days ago in Washington, D.C. They were having fistfights and fighting with the police. They were spraying and destroying. They were desecrating our monuments in Washington, D.C. 5 days ago, and nothing happened to them. And you can't have two systems of justice. That's why they went after me as a political opponent, because they felt they couldn't win without doing that. And
saying you can't have two systems of justice to a room full of black people is not only ironic, it is effing sad and tone deaf. Do you even know what happened under your presidency, sir? Do you even know? Were you even paying attention? That is the dumbest remark he's made thus far. Besides the police officer potentially getting immunity for Sonya Massey. That's it. I can't even. I don't know. We got 3 minutes left. Let's please finish.
We're going to be vindicated, but I have to spend a lot of time on that and money. That's what they want. After the election, they won't care. Although in my case, I think they probably will, because the hatred is pretty deep. But I'll tell you, they went after me as a political opponent. That's never happened in our country before, and it sets a terrible, terrible precedent.
What do you do on day one if you win? What's your first thing?
What do? I close the border. And I do two things, because I can do a lot of things simultaneously. I close the border. We don't want people coming in. We want people to come in, Harris, but they have to be vetted. They have to be checked. They have to come in legally. I want people to come into our country, but they have to be vetted. They have to be checked. So when you say, what do? That, and I drill, baby, drill. I bring energy way down. I bring interest rates down. I bring inflation way down, so people can buy bacon again. So people can buy a ham sandwich again.
Oh my
so
God.
that people can go to a restaurant and afford it, because right now people can't buy food. Your grocery bills are up 40, 50, 60%, right? She's agreeing to me. Oh, she's agreeing. Thank you. I like you very much. But it's true. Your grocery bills are up. And then they're mandating that you buy an all-electric car. You know, Elon Musk endorsed me, and he's a friend of mine. He's a good guy. He's a smart guy. But I'm against everybody having an electric car, okay? I'm very much against that. You have to be able to, if you want a hybrid or if you want a gasoline-propelled car. But, you know, we have more liquid gold, gasoline, oil, under our feet than any other country. More than Saudi Arabia, more than Russia, more than any other country. I want to use it. I want to use what we have. I want to bring down prices, bring down costs, and I also have to stop the invasion. And remember, they're taking your jobs. These people coming in,
Jesus Christ,
taking your job.
Project 2025.
I think we have to leave it there by the Trump team.
All right.
So leave it. That is the last word. Thank you so much, Mr. Trump, for coming today and joining us.
Well, thank you very much.
They've been telling
Thank you, everybody, very much.
that's crazy.
NABJ will email about me.
Okay, All right. Whew. Glad I'm done with that. Jesus Christ. That was a lot. That was a lot. Taking your job. That was by far the worst interview I've ever, and I mean ever, had the pleasure of watching. Okay. That was bad. That was bad. They're not taking our jobs. Okay. It's just another ploy to divide another group of people against each other. Okay. Excuse me. Because if they can divide again and have another racial split where it's black people fighting Hispanics, you know what I'm saying? They think that will bring our numbers down and we'll be battling it out with each other. Like, and we don't need to. We don't need to. We're both broke. Why would we fight? We're broke. We have nothing to fight over. Y'all took everything. Why fight? Why fight each other? Y'all took everything. Y'all have it all. Why should we fight each other? Help me understand. It looks like he could have used a teleprompter. Man, that bro ain't gonna read that mess. You know he just be talking. Dude had a teleprompter at his rally and was just up there just talking. Bro don't read. He do not read his teleprompters. All right, I refuse to believe his entire team is that dumb. Anyway, let's get so I wanted to my next topic. I want to talk about Kamala Harris. All right. So to talk about Kamala Harris, her rally in Atlanta, great optically, great turnout and all that. I understand why if you're trying to like push for gun control, why you would have Meg the Stallion and Quavo there. I get why you would do that. However, having Meg the Stallion actually perform was a bad idea. It was a bad look. Okay, like she don't need to be shaking ass like to get people to vote. Okay. Like you ain't got to twerk, vote, vote, vote. Like I don't need you throwing ass talking about vote, vote, vote. Like I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need her doing all that. I don't need to see no ass shaking to know to vote. All right, I will go vote. I will go vote. Just tell me what you're there for. All right. You. She seems to be a smart young lady. You graduated college. Just talk on the microphone. That's what Quavo did. He just talked. He didn't perform. That's what I want her to do. I want her to just talk. You ain't gotta shake no ass. You ain't gotta shake no ass. All right. But yeah, there's that. And I think that was really the only downside of it. She made some corny jokes here and there, but I mean, older black people are always corny. All right. Older people in general are most of the time they're corny. They do or say something corny. All right. And that's it. Uh it was a joke since they always make fun of it was a joke since they always make fun of Joe Biden. Yeah, no. I know you were joking. I know you were joking. I know you were joking. Yeah, I know you were joking. And I was just saying like he's just not gonna he's not gonna read it. His cognition like speed is just like deflect, reflect. Like that's it. That's all he does. Um anyway, that's really all I had to say about Kamala Harris. I don't really have a whole lot. There's not much new going on. She needs to hurry up and pick a vice president, VP, but I think she's not gonna pick till the actual DNC where she announced them there at the DNC. Like this is my running mate to like really capitalize on the moment and like push the moment even further forward. Because she's just trying to keep momentum for 100 days. That's it. She's in day like 90s. She's in the 90s or 80s days till the election. So she's just trying to keep the momentum going. That's it. That's all she has to do. That's all she has to do is keep her momentum going, and she's straight. Anyway, the next thing, the 2024 Olympics. Okay, so look, great turnout. Shout out to Simone Biles, and the other girls there, Shu Sung Lee, I think Shu Chung Lee or whatever her name is. I can't I don't remember. I didn't write your name down. There's this other girl. Anyway, y'all know who y'all are. Y'all know who y'all are. Like it's all love. It's all love. I love y'all. Y'all are phenomenal. Y'all are like the freaking all stars. And basically, if you see them walk onto the gymnastics floor, you should just leave. Just leave so they can get the gold medal and go home. All right. Just raffle off the other 2 medals. For real. Matter of fact, they shouldn't even have to perform no more. Seeing Simone Biles do her thing, like I happen to see some of the disgusting comments made against Biles and the team. Hey, listen, so their former teammate was talking crazy. Man, Simone Biles ate that girl up so bad on Twitter, she blocked her. I said, dang. I'm like, you was talking that crazy, that greasy. And then once the heat got turned back on you, you got in your feelings and blocked her. That's crazy. People are tripping. She was tripping. She felt like they weren't the other girls, they weren't good enough. They weren't really bringing that competitive edge or whatever. And I'm like, did you see the scores? Like, do you see the difficulty numbers? Do you see the execution number? Like, baby girl, they are murdering these people. It's bad. They're all phenomenal. They're all good. And they all have their event that they're one better than the other at, you know? And they've just been dominant as a team. Absolutely dominant. They're what you can count on, you know? Shout out to the men's basketball. What is that? 5-on-5. The 5-on-5. The with Steph Curry, LeBron, and them. They picked up another dub. The 3-on-3, both our girls and guys lost, and I'm offended. We started basketball. How we lose 3-on-3? How we lose? Everybody plays pickup. Everybody's played a little 3-on-3. Like, how did y'all lose, man? That's basketball. That's us. That's us. It's America's sport. What are you talking about? It was on one of the most controversial networks, Fox News. Hey, bro, that girl was tripping. That girl was bugged out with what she had to say. She was absolutely bugged out. The next thing I want to get into with the Olympics is like people were allegedly like the water was messed up for Paris and for numerous reasons. One, there was rain, so there was the sewage buildup, but so the water wasn't good at a good level for people to swim in. And then two, like there was a group of people that were trying to protest the Olympics by pooping in the river, literally pulling their pants down and pooping in the river. I'm not making this up. Go to Google. Looks like they couldn't play defense at all, bro. But that's a side effect. That's a side effect of today's game. Most people can't D up. Like there's no glory to be had in D'ing up. Everybody's trying to score. But in reality, like you should be trying to D up, because if you D up properly, you'll be able to score more. It just comes with the territory because you're frustrating your opponent. So that's they're making mistakes on defense to try and get back at you. It happens all the time. It's a human emotion thing. And and the frustration of not being able to score is crazy. That's a high class movement. Pooping in the river, bro, is sick. They some sick people out there in Paris. There's that. I'm trying to think. There was something else that happened. Shout out to the people that was just like that won the shooting thing. Like there's a dude that won the silver medal for the guys for a handgun, making a shot or whatever. Dude did it with no special equipment at all. He got the silver medal, and he was like, I was born. He was like, I'm a natural. I don't need special equipment to get to win, right? And which is crazy because like dude is really that dude. Like whatever country he's from, I think it was like I want to say it was like Turkey or like Hungary or something like that. Buddy is a beast. He was on like every single last like military like special group of like shooters. He was there. Like he was in their elite group. You know what I'm saying? So the dude's a bad man. He's a bad man. And he's like, I don't need no special equipment. I can just shoot. So dope guy did his thing. Trying to think what else. Is there anything else for the Olympics? I think that's it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I did want to talk about this. So there's I don't know exactly how to address it because the individual is not technically a trans individual, right? Because they didn't transition at all. Um, they're just an individual that was basically like in their life they were lied to. Okay, like and they're in the boxing competition, and basically they were lied to. They end up getting a test later on in life and finding out that they have XY chromosomes, and they're actually not a woman, they're a guy, but they were also born with uh everything that's a woman. So technically they have the facilities of a woman, but they're a guy. Um, at the end of the day, I mean, it's hey, listen, y'all got to look it up. But that individual, she needs because she's so much bigger than all the other women, but she's not quite big enough for the guys. It's unfortunate because technically she's a dude. Like on a technical level, she's a male because she's XY. Like that's what makes you a boy. That's what makes you a man. It's XY, you know. So that's what she technically is, but that's not how she lives, and that's not what she sees every day. Like she looks down, she looks at herself. She's a woman. And I just find it unfortunate. I find it really unfortunate that she's in that position, and I find it unfortunate for the other fighters. I don't think she should be there, and that's just how I'm gonna leave it. And then my last topic. So Israel, all right. They had an incident where 10 of their officers, they booty busted. Okay, they gang booty busted, a bunch of prisoners, right? Like they were just like it was so bad, and it was so bad. All right, these 10 officers, it was so bad. The guy's bowels busted. Okay, like it was that bad. That it was that bad. They literally were just like power driving this guy, which is crazy to me. Like they said that Palestinians are that way, and that's what Palestinians do. Like they mess with little boys and all this other stuff. Meanwhile, this is what y'all are doing to their prisoners. Y'all are booty booty banging the prisoners. Like y'all are just taking them. Y'all just taking them forcefully for hours on end. 10 guards taking turns with a dude, like tied him down and just crazy. Absolutely crazy. But with that being said, what happened from that was uh those officers were arrested. Now the parliament in Israel is debating whether or not those officers should be in jail. How is that a debate? How is that a debate? And then people in Israel were rioting, trying to break into the jail and free those officers because they believe they have the right to do that to Palestinians. That makes no sense. That's evil. That is evil. That is evil. No part of your society should be that way. No part of your society should be that way. You're not going to find that in America. You're not going to find that in America. You're just not. That mindset where it's like, oh, you did this to a prisoner. Oh yeah. We're going to break into that jail and we're gonna help you because we believe you should have did. You're not going to find that in America. Nobody's going to support that. Not in the math that I've seen in the videos. Like you're not going to see it. So y'all need to get it together over there. Y'all do. Y'all got to start seeing these other people as human beings. All right. And then you have on top of that, you know what I'm saying? They just took out one of the they took out a Hamas leader and they took out a Hezbollah leader. And the Hamas leader was one of the leaders that was leading the negotiations. And you're not supposed to kill somebody that you was negotiating. And they did it in Iran's territory. So Iran has vowed to attack back. So basically, they're setting themselves up for a war against everybody in the Middle East. because they're just haphazardly just killing people. They're like, "Oh, you're not Israeli, you're not a Jew." Bomb, 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 guns, bang. Like that's how they're moving, and that's unfortunate. That is wrong, and that's just unsupportable. That's untenable. You guys can't do that. You can't be trying to negotiate and then kill the person negotiating with you. That does not work. And people even in your own parliament are going, "Yo, you just put all these hostages at risk for what? Like you're putting all these people at risk for what? Stop it. Cease and desist." Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. This has been episode number 332 of the Homeroom with Smooth podcast. Oh my God, this took a minute. But yeah, I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to have covered everything. I'm gonna be breaking this down in the clips later. Bye. Subscribe.